Hello, Huskies. We're back, Jamie and I, for another episode of Talk a Latte with Jamie and Christian from IPS.
Yes, we are back, and we have a very special guest with us today as well. And today's topic of the podcast is Keweenaw Day, also known as K-Day. So, special guest, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Taylor Piering. I'm one of the coordinators with student leadership and involvement. And one of my main roles, besides helping to oversee all the student organizations, is to help plan K-Day.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming, Taylor. We really love K-Day. I know a lot of the international students really do love K-Day. But for those students incoming, for students that it's going to be their first exposure to K-Day, what actually is it? They hear so many people talk about it. They maybe see a lot of the promotional materials surrounding it. But what actually is it?
Yeah, so K-Day is a large student organization fair. And so we have 200 student organizations at Chassell Centennial Park, and they have like little booths set up, and there's games that they can play with the different orgs that are kind of relevant to what the organization does. And so it's all a chance for students to meet a lot of the different student organizations we have on campus. And then there's other fun stuff they can do as well. So there's like food, and there's like large bouncy house obstacle courses and stuff like that.
Awesome. And when is K-Day this year?
Yeah, so K-Day is going to be September 5th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. That's a Friday. And then I believe students get off at noon that day. And so they have that whole afternoon free to kind of go do what they want, or hopefully to come to K-Day.
Yeah, for sure. And you mentioned that it's at the Chassell Centennial Park. So is there any transportation options that will be provided that day for students?
Yeah, so we will have buses to take people there and back from the park. The buses will pick people up from the Rosé. And so if you go to the Rosé, you'll see a big area where there's people waiting for bus pickup. And then bus pickup from the park will be kind of at that park entrance as well. And so I guess just a heads up, if you plan on driving to K-Day, you will have to park on the street. There's no parking inside the park except for people that need like accessible parking spots.
I want to break it down further because we also have our producer here, Farida, which I always like to mention because she's very shy. So I always like to put her on the spot whenever I can. But Farida, have you experienced K-Day yet, or will this be your first one?
No, Christian, I have not experienced.
She's so shy, and I don't know why. She's so outgoing.
It's kind of the attitude. Like, she gave the side eye. No, Christian,
She did give me a side eye. Like, how are you doing this again? Okay, so for someone like Farida, I want to unpack it a little bit further. And anybody that has not experienced K-Day, we know that it's such a big event around campus. We take the transportation there. What am I going to see once I get to the park, Taylor?
Yeah, so you'll get dropped off kind of at the entrance of the park, and so there'll be like a little driveway you'll walk down, and then you'll see the student leadership and involvement booth, and so we're there to like answer any questions you might have about the day. We'll have little maps for you to kind of figure out where you want to go if you want to see different student organizations. If they're still available, we'll have special K-Day bags, which each year match the theme of the K-Day, and so it's pretty cool to kind of collect all the different bags that you have. But then it's at that point, it's a fair, and so you can kind of look around and be like, oh, I want to go to the giant bouncy house on that end, or I want to go to the food, which will be by the pavilion. And then just all throughout the park will be all of the different student organizations, and so there's a lot of just different places you can go to check out all the different orgs.
Is the food included? Is this something that students should maybe budget for a little bit? And what kind of food will be available?
Yeah, so the kind we're going for is more like snack vibe, and so it's going to be like little like pulled pork sliders from Curious Pig, which has been really popular with events in the past. We'll have shaved ice from Flavor Blast. We'll have Sumi will have little mini pasties that you can try, and then catering will have like chips and water and stuff in there. And so I feel like the food is kind of meant to be a sampler of some of the different stuff we have going on.
You see, Farida, now you have no excuse to not try a pasty.
I was waiting for you to ask about the food because I was going to be like, we love our food here. Tell us more.
We do love the food.
Yeah. And so the options I just mentioned, those will be free while supplies last, but a lot of the food trucks will also have options for you to buy as well. And so I believe Flavor Blast had other options that students could buy, and then I think Curious Pig might have some options for people to buy as well.
Awesome. Yeah. And you mentioned a theme that you normally have the themes every year for the bags. It'll have that on there. What's the theme for this year?
Yeah, so it's going to be Where's Blizzard, and so it'll be very much a Where's Waldo kind of a vibe, legally distinct Where's Waldo vibe. And so, yeah, it'll be a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Speaking of that, a little bit, I'm kind of stretching a little bit because last year was my first K-Day and I really loved it. I really enjoyed it. I volunteered for it. I went in there completely eyes anew to what this is, but I wasn't dressed appropriately for the time. And Taylor, tell me a little bit, having experienced several K-Days, what is usually the weather like? I know that the weather here changes all the time, but what is kind of more typical weather that students can expect if they're going there for the first time, taking into account that it is a park that is facing the water? Does that impact anything? Is it usually more sunny? Is it colder? Last year, I feel like it was very, very cold.
I mean, I feel like I would love to say that there is like an average of what it is, but I mean, it's early fall in the Keweenaw, and so last year it was cold and kind of windy, but other years it's been really hot and sunny, and so I would just like check your weather app and kind of see what it's saying. If it's looking like it's going to be hot that day, like, you know, shorts and a t-shirt, maybe a hat, you know, because it would probably be hot and sunny by the water. But if it's looking cold and windy, like, you just gotta, you know, bring a coat and some pants, and yeah.
And I'm sure there's the activities too with the different student groups that will probably have some type of physical activity going on to stay warm if you need
there's
it.
lots of things you can do.
Yeah.
If it is actually like raining and stuff like that, we will probably move it to the SDC and to the multipurpose gym. And so just be aware that if the weather's like really bad, we'll probably move it to a place where people won't get soaked while they participate.
But let's dissect what Jamie just said a little bit more. So trying to take it back to basics a little bit. I'm doing it more so for Farida. I'm picking on her this podcast. But someone like her and someone like myself, that this is my first one, this is my second one going, but now I kind of know what I'm getting into. I helped out last year doing the check-in part of it, and there were so many different activities that students could take part in. It wasn't so much just the food and then the bouncy house and getting to see all of the different RSOs that are around campus, but what are some activities that you guys plan to have outside of those things?
Yeah, so I was actually looking through our sign up this morning, just kind of see who was signed up and what are some of the things that they're offering. And so just some of the many options. I know the curling club is bringing an inflatable curling mat, so you could kind of participate in that. There will be some drone flying you could do. People will be doing face painting. There'll be a photo booth. And then in the past, orgs can still sign up, so not everything is set in stone. But in the past, some orgs have done like axe throwing. If the weather is really nice, maybe like the log rolling club will have their log in the water that you could do. Sometimes the sailing club is there. And so there's a whole lot of different stuff depending on what the org is doing. I think the Smash Club is having some different like Super Smash Brothers games you can play. And so there's like stuff that's like physical activity. There's stuff that's more computer oriented. There's just like fun stuff like the photo booth. And then even just a lot of the clubs that maybe aren't hosting like a large thing going on. They'll have activities at their booth, and so maybe there's like a prize wheel you could spin, or like some trivia and stuff like that. One of the big things that we're doing differently this year is we're going to try to have a stage for all of our like musical activities. And so some of the feedback we got last year was that all of the different booths were trying to play sound, and then it was just kind of like you were being washed in many different sounds at the same time. And so it was just a lot. And so we're trying to have all of our sound come from a particular stage area. And so from that, we'll have people doing like live music. We'll have DJ sets happening. I think WIM2 is going to host their radio station from there for a little bit. There'll be like some swing club will be doing like dance lessons and stuff like that there. And so there'll be a stage for all the music and stuff that goes along with that as well.
Definitely a wide range of activities, but I guess that's our student organizations too. There's something for everyone. But do you know the exact number of how many student organizations we have on campus?
I believe there's currently 270, but I feel like that number changes every week, and so I believe around 270 is what we have right now.
Awesome. And obviously, this podcast is mostly aimed towards our international students. So, for some of them that don't know the organizations, if they're coming in the fall or haven't been here for K-Day before and they kind of want to get an idea of who's going to be there, are there any organizations that are kind of more tailored towards international students that you've seen?
Yeah, so we have a lot of like cultural or nationality groups, and so we have like the Indian Student Association is a big one that a lot of Indian students will join, and so we have a lot of ones like that, similar to like African Student I'm forgetting. I think it's ASO, African Student Organization, I think is what their official name is. So there's ones like that they can get involved in. Graduate Student Government also has a lot of international students involved in that one. But then, international students can join any student organization. If they like playing soccer, they could join the soccer club. Or there's a badminton club that just started, I think, last spring or maybe last fall. I know a lot of international students like to play badminton, and so that could be one that they might want to do as well.
For sure, yeah.
Taylor, why does SLI put this on? What is the reason behind it? A little bit theoretically, why is K-Day so important? Why is it something that I know that you guys take a lot of pride in doing? Mm-hmm. You guys are very, very involved in it. You make sure that you basically roll out the red carpet for all of our students to be able to participate in this. But why? Give me the why.
Yeah, so I think being involved in a student organization is a great opportunity for students to find a meaningful community when they're on campus. And so something that's outside of their classes, they can find friends that they have common interests with and hopefully form really close friendships with. And that's just really helpful for them from a mental health standpoint and from finding a community. And so then from that, we want to make sure that our student organizations are just clearly displayed so that students can see all the stuff going on and they can find communities that they want to invest in and plug into.
So if a student goes to K-Day, they see some groups that they might be interested in joining, and this might be different depending on the student org, but what's kind of the process for students to sign up and be involved with these groups?
Yeah, so pretty much at K-Day, all orgs will have a sign-up sheet that you can fill out. Either it's a paper copy or it'll have a laptop there that you can sign up for. Otherwise, you can also go on to Involvement Link, which is our giant database of student organizations, where we'll have all of our organizations listed and then kind of what they do, and there's descriptions of how you can join them through that. And for the most part, they're all pretty chill. It's just hey, show up and tell us you want to be involved, and we'll make sure you're on the list. There are some organizations that do have a little bit more restrictions. So, for example, the fraternities and sororities, there's ways you have to pledge them, which is a little different. You can't just go and join it. Mm-hmm. And there's some honor societies as well that there's some grade points averages that are required for membership. But for the most part, anything is just super open, and as long as you want to participate, you can go participate.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the badminton club and how that was started last spring. So what if one of our students wants to start a club that necessarily isn't running right now? What would the process be to start their own organization?
Yeah, so the best way to start that is to find yourself and then 5 other people who want to be a member of that student organization. And then you'll need 3 officers. You'll need a president, a treasurer, and a secretary. And then you'll create a constitution. And then with those, you'll come to us and you'll say, hey, we're so-and-so, we want to start this particular club. And then we'll look through all of your documentation and kind of help make sure that your constitution aligns with all of the different stuff that SLI has for the requirements for their constitutions. We'll kind of walk you through that process. The exact steps are also on our website. And so if you go to Michigan Tech SLI, and then there's a section for student organizations, you can go there and kind of see all the specific steps that are required. But it's usually finding those 5 other members, an advisor who's usually a faculty or staff member, and then a constitution.
Taylor, when we're talking about all the groups, you pointed out that we have about 260?
70, I think.
200?
But,
okay.
It's always changing.
a ton, basically, is the point. What are some honorable mentions that you can throw our way for the students listening of maybe RSOs that they don't normally hear about a lot about, that are maybe very specialized? There's maybe not a ton of students that are involved in it, but it's still very active. Yeah. What are some of those? Give me both extremes. Give me some of the clubs and organizations that have the highest number, if you know, and what are some of those that we would not even think that actually exist on campus?
Yeah, so I guess starting with the ones that are maybe less well to know, and I feel like this is from my perspective, because I feel like every time I look through our organization list, there's ones where it's oh, I didn't realize we had that. But I feel like ones that are very specific, more niche, I feel like I don't recognize as much, and so maybe ones that are more particular to departments on campus, and so academic focused ones, I don't necessarily have a good grasp of all of those different types. I think especially a lot of the different computer ones. I'm not the most tech savvy, and so like they'll talk about like, oh yeah, we're doing this like server thing that people can join, and I'll be like, cool, you're doing computer stuff, yeah. And so I feel like all that kind of is just like ambiguous, computer organizations. And so I feel like ones that are niche like that are the ones that I don't like remember as much. But then I think on the other side, ones that people tend to see a lot. Well, I guess for one like IRHC, which is one of the hall organizations, is pretty big also because they put on broomball in the winter, which many students participate in. So that one is pretty popular. Let's see. I know
If you have not, sorry to interrupt, but if you have not, one, experienced broomball, it's super fun. And if you have not seen Taylor in broomball, you need to make an effort to go and see him because he is so great at it. He's very sweet, has a very kind demeanor in person, and then in broomball I think I saw him take out like 3 people. So it's such a sight to see, so definitely a plug for that. But go check out a broomball game for sure.
And I love my spoiler alerts, and there may be a Things to Do in the Winter episode coming out closer to the winter. So definitely broomball will be a large topic that we will talk about. But
Yep. Let's see what else. Pep Band is pretty popular. They're a pretty big organization. Sound and lighting services. I feel like our department uses them a lot. They provide professional like lighting and sound to a lot of events, and so we use them for many of our different things, including K-Day. They'll provide the power and the sound for that stuff. I feel like Mudboard does a lot of stuff as well. They're always putting on different like fun events for students on campus. Whether it's like fun food events or archery tag or laser tag or stuff like that. I feel like they always have fun stuff going on. And I help advise them, so I feel like I have to plug them a little bit. But yeah, so Mudboard is a great one to either go and do all of their stuff or to even join as a member and help put on fun stuff. And so if you like doing that, come check out Mudboard. They're pretty sweet.
yeah.
So once again, just for students that hear this huge number of organizations that we have, and they're excited about K-Day, but there's still some time to go, where can they go? Once again, I know you mentioned it early on, but where can they go to see that list of all the organizations?
Yeah, so it's called Involvement Link. You can find that through the Student Leadership and Involvement website, and you just log in with your tech login, and the account is already created for you. But then essentially it's kind of like I guess a Facebook, to put like an old school where you can just kind of type in the different.
What are you saying? Are you saying Facebook is for old people? Because I take offense to that.
No, not at all. I think Facebook is new and relevant and
Young and fresh Christian.
Yeah, it's so hip right now. But yeah, you can go and you can search for different types of organizations, or you can just go to the organization list and just kind of scroll through everything. And then on there, you can also see events that the organizations are putting on. And so if you just want to go check out like something that they're doing, you can see that there. And so it's just a great way to kind of see all the different orgs that are available on campus.
Mm-hmm. I know as of recently, too, one organization we're talking about, the ones that not many people may know about, and the Juggling Club is something that I learned about recently. Shout out to your coworker Cole, because I found out through him, and I was like, wow, that's a thing. Like, maybe I should join because I can't juggle. But
I think there's like a Pokemon club
there
too,
is,
right?
Yeah.
And like a barbell club. And
yeah.
all,
so that list and involvement link is perfect because you can just scroll, and I do that sometimes. Even I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it's cool that you only need technically 6 people to join or to create an org as well. So that's pretty awesome.
So do you guys at SLI offer any kind of assistance? Let's say we do have a student that maybe is not as tech forward as others, and they miss this, but they want to get involved. Can they go to your office and you guys sort of place them or kind of guide them through that? Or how does that look like if somebody were to show up at your door?
In terms of like they want to join a student organization but don't necessarily know like how to do that, or like
right.
Yeah, I mean, we have 3 coordinators now, which is pretty sweet. We got 2 new employees this summer, yeah. And so there's lots of people there that are just willing to help students and talk through their interests, and then show them how Involvement Link works and stuff like that. And so yeah, stop by our office. We're open anytime the university's open. I think it's
Where are you guys?
8 to 4 now in the summer, but I think it's 8 to 5 in the school year. We are in the MUB, so we're MUB 112, and so we're kind of like back a windy hallway past the bathrooms. And so if you feel like you're going to like the middle of nowhere in the MUB, that's where we're at. And so, yeah, we're MUB 112. You can also email us at rso@mtu.edu to ask questions about RSOs as well.
But otherwise, we really hope that you do visit Keweenaw Day on September 5th from 1 to 5. And we'd like to thank you, Taylor, for coming in and talking about K-Day and a little bit about what your department does with that.
Taylor, one final thought before we leave. I'm trying to think about the international students who may be more shy. Mm-hmm. And K-Day is just this huge, massive event. You have loud music. There's so many people. There's so many things going on. What are maybe some words or encouragement that you would offer to a student that maybe is interested or has seen this group around campus, knows that they exist, but is kind of too shy to approach them? Do you have any words of advice? And also, why do you think it's important to be a part of an RSO while they're here?
Yeah. So I feel like if you're feeling shy, or maybe you don't necessarily want to like just go to a meeting for the first time and meet people there. There is also like other ways of contacting the student orgs on their involvement link page. And so if you feel more comfortable sending them an email and introducing yourself there, there's ways to do that. Or you could, find a friend and go with a friend. I feel like that's always a good option as well. Yeah, and I feel like sometimes you just have to embrace the risk and take step out and go and try to meet some new people. And from my experience, I in last year I just kind of went to different student org meetings that looked fun, and so I just showed up at the juggling club one day and went to the craft club a couple times, and they're all super friendly. You just show up and they're like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Here's what we're doing. Here's our juggling balls. You can go have fun over there or whatever." And so like they're all super welcoming and really just open in that way. Yeah, and I think then why is it important? We kind of talked about this earlier, but like finding that community, that group of friends that you can really like grow in, invest in, and be invested in as well. It's just really helpful for just your mental health and your social health and stuff like that, and engaging well with what the campus has to offer, and then helping you grow more than in just your academics, but like helping you grow socially as well.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any ways that students can be involved with helping for K-Day? Is there volunteer opportunities? Where would they go if there are?
Yeah, so another website called GivePulse is where all of the different serving opportunities that Michigan Tech, but then also a lot of like the local community groups that need volunteers as well. They'll post stuff on there as well. But you can go sign up on GivePulse for volunteering at K-Day. We'll have spots for helping out set up at the morning. And then spots during the event itself for like cleanup and managing the food areas and stuff like that, and then spots at the end for helping us clean up. Yeah,
that is wonderful.
But again,
wonderful.
you can find GivePulse on our website as well. And again, it's just your MTU login.
So if you have any questions about RSO's K-Day, go to the MUB, find Taylor, and he will answer every single question that you have about this.
Every single one.
A shout out to SLI. Quite honestly, student leadership and involvement. They are big forces here on campus. They do put out so many events. All of their events we put on our International Husky Digest that we release every Thursday or Friday throughout the year. And so we want to thank once again Taylor. Taylor, thank you for being here and guiding us through this K-Day. I know it's something that a lot of international students really love and love to take part in, but sometimes they just don't know the inner workings of what it all is. And so thank you.
Yeah,
You're
thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you for having me.
And Frida will be there as well.
I'm taking her, and I will be at the pasty station just waiting for her, and we're gonna have a pasty together because she has never had one, and we talked about that and things to do in the summer in Houghton, and she's gonna tell me if she's a ketchup or gravy person.
And I'm going to be as far away from that table as possible.
We will catch you guys next time for another episode of Talk a Latte with Jamie and Christian.
Bye.
This has been an IPS production with Michigan Tech University. If you would like to be featured in a future episode, reach out to us at ips@mtu.edu or come to our office in the administration building. Bye!